Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the 34th episode of the 3am Knitter podcast. My name is Anne, and I am so happy that you are here tuning in today. If this is your first time here, a super warm welcome to you. I'm so happy that you have found the podcast, and I really hope that you'll enjoy yourself while you're here. Take some time, if you are called to do so, to please like and subscribe to the podcast, because that is how the channel grows. And of course, if you are a returning viewer, hello, and thank you so much for coming back. I'm happy to see you too. All right, as I do with every episode, let's jump right into the housekeeping and get that out of the way. So you're going to find me on Instagram as 3am Knitter. Facebook, again, I have a Facebook page, 3am Knitter. I know, no surprise. There's a Ravelry group for the podcast called the 3am Knitter group. I mean, you know, that's what it should be called. My website, the3amknitter.weebly.com, which is where you will find a whole bunch of things. There are links to my patterns. There is information about upcoming workshops. There's information about my membership, which is called The Circle, which is opening again in the fall. So if you want to do a little bit of investigation about that, you can do that on the website. There's also, I think I said workshops. Also information about upcoming retreats will be coming soon, and there will be a new blog starting over on the website soon. I don't have an exact date for that yet, but just watch for that, and you can watch on my Instagram feed, and you'll hear news about that coming soon. Email address is 3amknitter@gmail.com, and if you need my my physical mailing address, that's down below in the show notes. I also have a newsletter that you can subscribe to that I do try to get out once a month, close to the very beginning of the month. It doesn't come out every single month, but it does come out most months. And I include things like upcoming pattern releases, when the next podcast episodes will be put up on YouTube, upcoming workshops, and any other kind of interesting information that I think that you need, knit-alongs and things like that. So if you'd like to subscribe to the newsletter, please follow the link down below in the show notes, and you can do that as well. All right, so that is the housekeeping bit out of the way. I have a couple of announcements for you. The 2024 East Coast Sock Club. So some of you have already purchased the year-long sock club that I launched back at the beginning of the year. The 2024 East Coast Sock Club is a 4-pattern sock club that each pattern will be, one pattern rather, will be released each quarter. So there was one back in, sorry, I'm just looking at my schedule here. I think it was March, if I remember correctly. I don't have March up there. The next pattern, second of 4 patterns, comes out June 15th, so next week. So the first pattern was called Atlantic Breeze Socks, and I don't know if you can see that. Anyhow, sorry if that's not very clear for you to see. You see kind of, it's a little bit of a lace pattern that goes down the top of the foot. Cuff down, heel flap and gusset construction. The pattern comes in 3 sizes, as all of the patterns in this collection will. Nothing fancy about the knitting. If you have knit socks before, you will recognize the recipe, as it were. If you've never knit socks before, relatively easy for you to follow, so I encourage you to jump on board. So the pattern club of 4 patterns is available to purchase. If you purchase it now, you will automatically get the Atlantic Breeze sock pattern in your mailbox, and then on the 15th of June, the Maple Harbor socks are being released, and I am going to show you a little sneak peek today of the Maple Harbor socks. So that will be out to all people who have purchased the club on the 15th of June. Now, if you wait to purchase the club until after the 15th of June, you'll get both the Atlantic Breeze sock pattern and the Maple Harbor sock pattern, and then the subsequent patterns will come out after that. So without further ado, a little sneak peek for all of you of the Maple Harbor socks. So this is in my preferred method of knitting socks. It is a cuff down heel flap and gusset sock, but this is a colorwork sock. So here we go. So you'll see here that there is a happy little maple leaf on the front and on the back of the sock. Sorry, there's an awful lot of glare here. I don't know if you can see that really well. So this maple leaf on the front and on the back of the sock is done in stranded color work. So within the pattern, I'll be giving some tips and tricks about how to deal with the stranded color work, on a sock. I chose to use the contrast color for a little bit of stripe in the ribbing, and of course for the heel flap and gusset and the toe. You can, do whatever pleases you, but that is the Maple Harbor sock, colorwork sock. I would say that if you haven't done color work before, now this is just my opinion, if you haven't done color work before, perhaps a sock is not the best first project for color work. Socks can be a little bit tricky with color work because you have to make sure your tension is loose enough in the color work that it still goes over your foot. So I'll let you play with that, but anyway, so this is the Maple Harbor sock, and it will be released on June the 15th. The pattern will be coming your way, so stay tuned for that. Super excited for this, and I can't wait to see what you create with the color work. All right. Also, you may recall, if you've watched previous episodes or if you follow me on Instagram, that I was doing a needle destash. I had a whole bunch of extra needles in my needle stash that weren't being used, that I didn't like, or whatever the reason. I've kind of migrated to Chai-Goos now. I use the interchangeables and I use the DPNs, and I am exclusively just using those. So I was able to destash a whole bunch. I only have one set of DPNs left, and that is the Kollage DPNs. They're in 5.5 millimeter. You'll be able to find the post on my Instagram feed or on my Facebook page. So I do have that one set of Kollage DPNs left. If anybody is interested, just send me a DM and we can make arrangements for that, okay? All right, let's get into some whips. I have a few. So my first update for you, bear with me while I just bend down here to pick up the project. Oh my goodness, I thought it was a little closer here. All right, so you may recall that on local yarn store day, I treated myself to some fingering weight yarn from My LYS, Natural Ewe Yarns, in their fabulous Clementine colorway. So I'll just show you, whoops, I've showed you this before, but so that is Natural Ewe Yarns Clementine. There's their label. I mean, I've shown you this so almost every episode, their yarn. So this is their Gots to Have It Merino. It's Gots' Global Organic Textile Standard. 400 meters of fingering, naturally dyed by Andrea of Natural Ewe Yarns. She's an amazing dyer. It's a little bit washed out in the picture here, but it's a delightful, delightful orange. So I have that, and I have started the Tin Can Knits Low Tide Cardigan because I wanted just something, you guys know me, I like layering pieces, right? So I really just wanted something that I could knit up for layering. So this is kind of hard to show you because, all right, you know what? I'm just going to show you the back. So here is the back panel. and I have the front panel, and I've just basically, so I've got both front panels, which you knit and then you block, and then you attach at the shoulders a little bit, and then you pick up at the bottom of it, and you start knitting in just stockinette for the body. So I've just, as you can see, I've just started the stockinette, but that gives you kind of an idea of the colorway there. So I'm at the part of this sweater now. Tin Can Knits patterns are amazing, of course. I'm at the part of the sweater now where it's just knitting. So this is going to be by my chair for TV knitting. But I mean, you can see the color, it's just divine. So I'm really, really looking forward to getting some more work done on that. Like I say, I've got about, I'd say an inch. Yeah, I'd say about an inch of the body now knit. And I think the pattern calls for about 14.5 inches from that pickup edge. So I've got a ways to go. But again, it's going to be great, you know, conference call knitting and TV knitting and things like that. So I'm quite happy with the progress, and I am just loving the yarn. It's already so soft, but I just can't wait to get that one finished and have an opportunity to wear it. So that's whip number 1. Whip number 2. So as part of the Circle by membership, we're doing a kind of a loosey-goosey knit along or crochet along or anything along. So people, you guys, if you've watched me for a while, you know that I do a card pull from the Knitter's Tarot every episode. And so I drew 3 cards for this knit along, and we all kind of took a look at what those cards meant, and then we chose a project based on 1, 2, or all of the cards. And so I decided to crochet a granny square bag. And so I found a pattern and I used it as a guide, and I am working away with acrylic yarn, which I believe that I'm going to line when I'm all finished this bag. So this, I haven't got any more progress on this piece. So this is going to be the bottom and the sides of the bag. So basically all I'm doing is I'm using 6 colors of acrylic that I have, and I'm doing 3 rows of single crochet. That's why I have all of these ends here. So this will be the bottom and the sides of the bag. And then I'm using, let me just move these out of the way and kind of get these. So then I'm using this basket full of bright colored acrylics. These are Red Heart, I think. And I'm just making up some granny squares, and I am edging them in black. So here is, and I need 12 granny squares for each side. So I need 24 granny squares. So here's the first color combination that I did. I'm just randomly selecting colors out of the basket and crocheting the square. So I've got 3 of these, and then this is the second combination that I selected. So basically I'm just using the colors that are in this bottom and side piece, and I will mix and match them and create the granny squares, and then make the sides, sew them all together. And then I'll likely make a single crochet strap that I will line with some fabric, just some random, some scrap fabric that I have around. Or I might go and raid my mother's beautiful fabric cupboard. So you know how we all have yarn stash? My mother has a fabric stash, and it is phenomenal. Anyhow, I digress. So this basket has been sitting either by my desk when I work, so I can pick it up when I'm on a conference call, or it sits downstairs by the TV. Final round of hockey is on, so the Stanley Cup. So I try to stay awake long enough. I usually make it only through one period, and then I'm fast asleep. But anyway, so that is one of the crochet projects that I'm working on. I pick it up when I just feel the need. Sometimes you just need to crochet, right? So that's what I've been doing. And then the second project, oh, it's right here. I just said again, sorry. So the book club that I participate in on Ravelry, we do 2 months, 1 book and 1 project. And you may recall that the idea is that you select a project that somehow ties into the book that we just read. And we can make the decision as to how that pattern fits. And then you have to start it within that 2-month time period of the book reading. Does not have to be finished until the end of the year. But if you want to be in for any prizes or things like that, you have to have it done by the end of the year. Let's see, what else can I tell you about that? So the last book that we read was called, last month and this month, called Good Night June, based kind of on the story of Goodnight Moon, if any of you know that children's book. So the book in and of itself was meh. I wasn't my favorite read. It's what I would consider a beach read. You know, it was okay, but I wouldn't be writing home about it by any means. So part of the story is about a woman who inherits a bookstore from her aunt. And so I was thinking about this, that, and the other thing. What am I gonna make for this? And because I've been in this crochet mode, I decided that I was going to crochet myself a book bag that I could take to the library with me and pick up a few books. So I have a whole bunch of stash, as you know. I had a whole bunch of this Lion Brand Heartland acrylic. Let's see, in a few colorways. So I have, this kind of gray-y brown. It looks gray, but when you look at it close up, I think it's actually brown, but it's called Mammoth Cave is the colorway. So this is a medium weight Lion Brand acrylic, 230 meters in the ball, 5 ounces, 251 yards, etc., etc. And then the same yarn, but in the Acadia colorway. So I have all of this kind of sitting around, and I thought, what the heck am I going to make? I'm going to make this book bag. So I looked for some patterns for book bags and used the kind of basic idea of it and started knitting up. Whoops, my hook has fallen out here. Started crocheting up, rather, a book bag. So it's not going to be a big one because I usually walk to the library. And because I live in a coastal town, going to the library is fine because you're walking down the hill towards the harbor. But coming back, you're walking up the hill, and it's a hill. Yeah, we're not talking about these gentle rolling hills. We're talking about hills. Okay, so what I did is I don't know if you can see this detail here. So I crocheted the bottom, right, single crochet. Then I crocheted into the back loop to get this slight ridge here. And then I'm doing in the gray, 1, 2, 3. So two rounds of through the back loop, single crochet. And then 1, 2, 3, I think 4 rounds of just regular crochet. And then changing to the Acadia colorway or the beige colorway and doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of through the back loop. So you get this ridge detail, and then back to the gray or brown, 2 rounds of through the back loop, and then the 3 additional rounds of just regular crochet. So I'm just making up the pattern as I go. I will continue crocheting until it's, I don't know, a foot, 13, 14 inches maybe. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, maybe like this. I don't know. Until I feel like it'll fit a decent amount or a decent size book. And then I'll crochet a strap for it. I will likely do a long strap because I like a crossbody. so I don't have to worry about it falling off when I'm walking up those gigantic hills. So that is my second work in progress. So I've got 2 crochet bags on the go, both of them very, very different, but that is okay, and that's what it's all about. My other work in progress is not really a work in progress. So you guys, I want to talk to you about my 12 pairs of socks in 12 months project that I'm doing this year. I have to pick the patterns from my pattern library on Ravelry or books that I already own, and I must use stash yarn to knit up those patterns. So in my Ravelry group, I put a list of the patterns that I was going to knit. I did really good in January. I did really well in February. Did really good in March. April, I was super late getting the socks done. May, I have not even cast on yet, and we are already at June the 7th. So I have a little bit of sock catching up to do. Now, in my defense, I was finishing the design for the June 15 release of the Maple Harbor socks. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So my plan over the next, rest of June and July is to not only get my May socks done, but get my June socks done and my July socks done. So I have 3 pairs of socks to get finished in a month and a half. I think I can do it. What do you think? We'll see. So it's not technically a work in progress, but it's going to be. I really have to commit to getting caught up. Some of the girls in my membership are, Ellen is like this master sock knitter, and she knits like 3 pairs of socks a week, and I'm like, Ellen, what is going on? I need to keep up with you. So anyhow, there it is. And then the other thing that I started, now you may have seen a post on Instagram about this, I'm not sure, but I did start a weaving project on my little Cricut loom, and whoops, I just dropped I'm just gonna oops, my heddle up there, hang on, let me just move the heddle down. So that's as far as I've gotten here. So this is just, again, using stash yarn. My plan is to weave up a nice long piece of fabric that I will be using to create some sort of garment. So I haven't decided yet what that's going to look like. A top, or a layering piece, or something like that. But the mood will strike me when I see how the fabric turns out. So, I love weaving, and I get the bug, and I've got so much stash yarn over here, like this stuff up here is all wool that I can use for weaving. I bought that at Camilla Valley Farms in Orangeville, Ontario, I believe. So if you're looking for anything for weaving, check out that website. Actually, I should make a note right here to add Camilla Valley link down in the show notes, so any of you who are interested can check out their website. Okay. I'm not wearing any knitwear today, obviously, because it is a surprisingly beautiful day here, and it's a little warm for knitwear. So I am, however, wearing my beautiful Mable Rose one-of-a-kind piece. Look at that beautiful necklace. I've shown you this one before. It's one of my favorites. And if you have not checked out the Mable Rose summer release, you need to go to the link down below and check out the Mable Rose Instagram feed. Ooh, there's some beautiful pieces. I'm stopping myself, but beautiful pieces. But I do, however, have a finished object to show you. You might have seen it already on Instagram. I'm not sure if you have or not, but I finished my Stormbay Shawl. This is by, sorry, I need to look at the pattern here. I was really organized, I promise you. And now I feel all kind of kerfluffled. Let's go to projects, Stormbay Shawl. There we go. So this is by Lisa Much. And I am thrilled with this shawl. So this is a DK shawl. I used leftover stash. Look at this. It is huge, which I love. So this was one of the projects that I did, or that I knit for the book club. Isn't this just a thing of beauty? I wish you could feel it. It's like, the post that I put up on Instagram says that it's like a squishy warm hug, because it really is. So it is just, I mean, it's going to be great in the winter. You know, it's a nice and big and squishy. Oh, doesn't really match the outfit I'm wearing, but you know, there it is. But it is, yeah, it's super warm. It's going to be fabulous out by the fire this summer. I am absolutely thrilled with it. It's so soft. So yes, Stormbay Shawl by Lisa Much. I used a leftover stash, Frankie Gray Fibres. So this is Frankie Gray Fibres in the Sand Dollar colorway. And this blue here, oh, sorry, the light is coming through. So this blue is Frankie Gray Fibres in Cape Cod, I want to say. And then this is Frankie Gray Fibres in Delphinium. And then this is a leftover, just a leftover no label DK that I had. And even though it looks dark, it's, you probably won't be able to see it here. It's got hints, just hints of blue and red and a little bit of green in it. And so I thought that even though it was a little bit darker, that it made a really nice accent at the bottom of the shawl. So this pattern is super easy. I blocked it quite aggressively to get the points that I like. But if you're looking for a great workhorse shawl that you can use a lot of your leftover yarn, your stash yarn, check this one out. Now I did make a little bit of an adjustment. The last repeat, so that dark, this right here, it is supposed to be larger. So I cut out, I think, 2 repeats. So it really should be like, if you look at this darker blue, so the size of that, so this this natural color at the bottom here should be half the size of that dark blue if you follow the pattern verbatim. I wanted it a little bit smaller because I wanted that just to be, because I didn't have enough. I do have some Frankie Gray DK in the midnight color. Is it midnight? It's a dark blue. But I didn't have enough. So that's why I did it that way. But I love the pattern so much. It did take me a little while to knit it. I started it on March the 19th and I just finished it on the 2nd of June. So I had put it down for a bit because I was busy with the designing of the Maple Harbor socks. But it really is a great knit. Easy peasy pattern to follow, very well written. On Ravelry, you'll find that there are 31 projects. It was released May 2019. and it is a paid for pattern. It is $6 US or $8.61. Now, Lisa Much has lots of beautiful shawl patterns, so do check her out. I will link to her below. So I'm very happy about that finished object. Very, very happy. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about advent calendars. I love advent calendars. I love the thought of advent calendars. I have never purchased an advent calendar for myself in the last, I don't even know how long. Here's the thing. I was thinking that, maybe this year's going to be the year that I'm going to get myself an advent calendar because, My LYS has a beautiful advent calendar. There's lots of other businesses that offer fantastic advent calendars. But here's the thing. Right now, we are in the middle of, Paul and I are in the middle of home renovations. We're putting on a new deck on our house. We need a new roof. We need, like those kinds of things, right? So there's lots of expenses, and just the day-to-day running of a home these days, right? So, do I bite the bullet and treat myself to an advent calendar? And I just can't justify it this year because they're expensive. Are they worth it? Absolutely, they're worth it. There's so much work that goes into them from these amazing dyers. They're great value, but I just, with all of the home expenses that I have coming up, there's just no way that I can spend that money on an advent calendar. So here's what I thought, and I got this idea from the Knit Sip Happy podcast, and Nancy was talking about this on one of her recent past episodes. I have a gigantic bag of minis, all different colorways. They're all beautiful, jewel tones, and there's some pastels, and there's this and there's that. And I thought, I'm going to take a page out of the Knit Sip Happy book this year. And I'm going to take this big bag of minis. I'm going to clean it out so there's, no projects in there, no needles and that kind of stuff. Just make sure that this is a bag of minis. And I'm going to get myself some little paper bags, and I'm going to take this bag downstairs, and I'm going to, after having labeled the bags with the numbers of, 1, 2, 3, etc., have Paul just, dive into the bag one at a time and put a skein in each of the bags and close it for me so I can make my own advent calendar. Do I already own the yarn? Yes, I do. Have I used the yarn? No, I have not. Is it in a bag over there that I can't see? Yes, it is. When was the last time I looked at it? 6 months ago. So by the time December rolls around, it'll probably be a year since I've seen this yarn, and it will be a surprise. So I'm not going to get the full effect of having a brand new advent calendar from, the likes of Natural You Yarns down the street from me. But at least I'll be able to join in on my own fun, using up some of my stash. So tell me, do you jump in and buy an advent calendar? If you do, which ones? Tell me which ones you buy, because, there is going to be a time where I am going to treat myself to somebody else's advent calendar. And I would love to know what your favorites are. If you don't have a favorite, but this is your first year buying one, I want you to go to the Natural You Yarns website and check out their pre-orders for their advent calendar. It is phenomenal. I promise you, I saw their advent calendar last year. You will love it. So I'll put a link to that down below as well. So tell me all about your advent calendar adventures, okay? So that is my story about advent calendars. Now, part number 2 of this. Would you be interested in doing an advent calendar swap with me? What does that look like? All right. So Christmas, you know, you want something to open for 24 days and then something great to open on the 25th day, or maybe you just want the entire month of December, or maybe you want just minis and you don't care about the big surprise on the 25th, whatever that's going to look like. Let's say if you would like to participate in an advent calendar swap with me, let's do a little sign up and make an agreement that we will swap 3, 6, however many we decide, mini skeins of advent yarn to each other. And then we will be able to build our own advent calendars from the stash we have, plus a few new little stashes that we acquire from our friends. So what I don't want this to be is something that's going to cost everybody a lot of money. I don't want you to go out and buy mini skeins to participate. That's not the idea. The idea is that we're participating with what we have in our stash. I also would like to suggest that if you want to participate, it would be your responsibility to pay the shipping of your mini skeins to your swap partner. And it would be your swap partner's responsibility to pay the shipping to you. So we're each paying our own shipping. I think it gets messy if we try to say, okay, well, I'm going to send you this, but the shipping is going to be $12.99. Let's just pay our own shipping. And I think if we keep it at, say, 3 or 6 mini skeins that we're swapping, we'll be able to keep the shipping low. Would you be interested in just North America? Would you be interested in just Canada? Would you be interested in international swap? Let me know. Okay. I'm going to put a poll up and I would love to hear your thoughts, and then we can get this rolling in a couple of months. What do you think? Okay. I would love to do this. And even if we don't have a whole bunch of people participate, even if there's only a few of us, that's okay. At least we'll have a few new things in our stash for our handmade advent calendars. Okay? All right. Now, I want to talk to you about some of my favorite new patterns that I have seen come across my Instagram feed and my Ravelry feed. These are my 5, okay, never mind, not 5, 6. I know I said 5 when I posted on Instagram, but I actually found another one, so it's now 6 of my favorite tops. 6 tops that I want to knit for summer, okay? So let's get rolling with number 1. Now, many of you have probably seen this. I saw this come across my feed not too long ago, not too long being a few days. This is a pattern by Caidree, and it's called the Leela top. Whoops. It's a fingering weight summer top. Oh, I'm going to turn it this way. Finger weight summering top with a little bit of, it looks like garter stitch ridging there to give it some texture. Skinny shoulders. Oh, it just is beautiful. It's got a beautiful drape on the front. It looks like a beautiful summer top. I absolutely want to knit this. It is, as I say, a fingering weight, 24 stitches, 36 rows to 10 centimeter in the texture. There are 10 sizes in the pattern. It is a paid for pattern at $9.32 Canadian or $6.50 US. The Leela top is a classic sleeveless summer top with a square style neckline. It's constructed from the top down, giving it an advantage for adjusting the length of the body. Simple textured stitch is used throughout the pattern. It's worked flat and in the round. The Leela top is meant to be worn with 0 to 5 centimeters or 0 to 2.5 inch positive ease. 10 sizes ranging from a bust circumference of 29.5 inches all the way up to 54-inch bust. Fingering weight yarn. And there are 29 projects already on Ravelry for this June 2024 pattern. Most of those projects, if not all, are the test knits. So that's the Leela top. And as you may recall from the last episode, I frogged the diaphanous raglan top that I was knitting because I was unhappy and it had sat in timeout for long enough. So I do have Natural Ewe Yarns fingering. This is in the Cosmo colorway. And I thought that this would be great for that top. What do you think? I'm going to give that one a try. So that is, again, the Leela top by Kadri or Kadri. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that. So my second choice for summer tops that I want to knit is called, I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly, the Cappahayden by Jennifer Beal. So this pattern is lace weight, 19 stitches and 40 rows for 10 centimeters in lace. There are 7 sizes. It's a paid for pattern, $12 Canadian. This is an interesting pattern. It's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but I'm intrigued by it. So it's a modular knit. You see it's got like squares that have a little bit of lace patterning, and then it looks to me like a little bit of color work. Is there a... So it's got, oops, let me make that picture larger, sorry. It's got kind of a bat wing style sleeve, which is great. And then the back, I thought, yeah, see the back is in a nice open pattern stitch. So I'm quite intrigued by this pattern. This is by Jennifer Beal, as I say, until June 10th, which is Monday, till Monday. You can get 25% off this pattern. So it's a modular dolman tee showcasing a patchwork interplay of fair isle and simple lace. The patchwork squares are worked first and joined. The remaining front and back body lace is worked flat, and then stitches are picked up and the dolman sleeves are worked in the round. This cool and cropped summer overlay is great over a camisole or a dress. 7 sizes. The samples use Jamieson and Smith's Shetland Supreme Lace 2-ply. And 2.5 and 2.75 millimeter needles, or 1.5 and 2 US. It was tech edited. So there are 8 patterns or 8 projects on Ravelry, and it is a brand new pattern published in June, published this month. So that is the Cappahayden top. I think that is fun. Yeah, so that's on my list. Okay. Pattern number 3, top 5 patterns, summer tops that I want to knit. This one here, I do want to talk to you about. I have special words for this one. Oh, did I not? There it is. So this pattern is by Natalie Pelik. Sorry, it's called the Wonder Garden. Look at that lace panel down the back. So it's very loose. It's kind of asymmetrical. The lace panel down the back and on the side. Oh, I love it. Buttons. You can use special buttons there. A little bit of raglan shaping. Oh, I love this. I love this top so much. I can't even tell you. So this is a brand new pattern as well. June 2024. There are 22 projects on Ravelry. It is a fingering weight. The samples are made in linen. 22 stitches and 36 rows for 10 centimeters in stockinette on a 2.75 after blocking. There are lots of sizes. They have kids to 12 months, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, adults. They have a whole host of sizes. It is a paid for pattern at $12.25 US or Canadian, excuse me, and $8.75 US. Alrighty. The Wonder Garden top is worked seamlessly from the neck down. The back yoke is worked first, consisting of 2 halves. Then stitches are picked up along the shoulder line to begin the 2 halves of the front, which are then joined after the neckline shaping has been completed. Back and front are joined after completion of the armhole shaping, after which the body is worked in one piece in the round to the desired overall length. Lastly, the neckline and armhole finishing are worked. So difficulty is medium. So I don't think that should be any problem. But to that end, I wanted to show you some new yarn that is coming out very soon from the lovely Cozy Posy Yarn Co., who, by the way, is a Nova Scotia maker and also has a podcast, by the way. I will link to her below. So she is launching this summer line of Lush Lino, which is linen and, what's the breakdown? Linen silk, 65 silk, 35 linen. She sells it. She's going to have it in fingering and in DK. So I want to show you, look at this. Oh, of course I did it the wrong way. Look at these colors. Like, first of all, this yarn's going to be perfect. Look at that. And I mean, what does she say about them? Hang on just one sec. Like, oh, I can't, look at that. Like, look, even that, right? My goodness. So what Cozy Posy Yarn says is my Summer Things collection, Lush Lino Summer Yarn. It's comprised of 65% silk and 35% linen, fingering and DK. Fingering weight base weighs 115 grams, 490 yards. DK 115 grams, 245 yards. Soft, drapey, and really good. Perfect for summer garments and layering pieces to help you transition into autumn as well. The color palette is a big one, and I'll also be including some of our other bases, so stay tuned for a little more. I will link to this below. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this yarn. I can't wait to get my hands on it because I think it's going to be absolutely perfect for this Wonder Garden top. Let me just see if I can make that lace. Like, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I can't wait. So that's my pick number 3. Actually, it might be pick number 1, but there it is. Okay, the next one on my list, number 4, is another top by Yomiko Alexander. So you may recall from my previous podcast episode, or was it the one before, that I just finished the agave sweater by this designer. So this is called Joinery. It is done in worsted, but I am fascinated by the construction. Look at that. I love anything that's asymmetrical like that. Anything that, you know, like, look at the joint. I mean, hence the name of the pattern, right? I am just gaga over this. So a perfect layering piece. You can use, I mean, this is obviously in solid color, but you could use all different kinds of leftover yarns for this. Oh, yes, please. So again, Yumiko Alexander. This came out in May. Worsted weight, 16 stitches and 24 inches, or 24 rows, excuse me, to 10 centimeters or 4 inches in stockinette, 5.5 millimeter needle or US 9. It is a paid for pattern, $12.91 Canadian or 9 US. The top is assembled with 5 panels, 2 for the back and 3 for the front. You work a first panel, then work the subsequent panels connecting to the previous panel as you go. The method of joining makes a cable-like texture and adds great character to the top. Using 2 colors shows off the cable textures, and it makes a unique and original top. If you prefer working with just 1 color, also makes a beautiful and textured top. So it comes in 5 sizes. And it's a relatively big gauge, so it would knit up very quickly. So that is Joinery. That is number 4 on my list. And I think that I have so much stash over there that I can use, and that would be interesting to mix and match on that one. So there we go. Number 5. Let's see, number 5 is called Roman Holiday, and it is by Sari Nordland, of course. So this is kind of a plain Jane tank top, but I think that, you know, we all need these types of garments in our wardrobe. And even though it's a plain Jane tank top to the first glance of the eye, there are little details in it that make it special. So there's the back. Look at that neckline there. See a little bit of garter stitch there. Nice wide shoulders, which are great for us girls who prefer a wider shoulder to hide, you know, undergarments and things like that. It's a great pattern, and it's Sari Nordland, so you can't go wrong. This is an older pattern. It came out in December of 2018. DK weight, light fingering held together, two strands of light fingering. Your gauge is 21 stitches and 25 rows. It is a paid for pattern, $7.76 Canadian or 5 euros. And it's knit on 3 1/4 or 3.75 millimeter needles or US 3 and 5. There are 6 sizes, extra small to 2XL. And the write-up reads, what would Audrey wear? When in doubt, this is the question I usually ask myself. This silky top has become my summer wardrobe staple. It is simple yet versatile and works in every occasion, at the office during holidays, at a garden party, or with jeans and a cardigan for a layered look. The Roman holiday top is super easy and quick to knit, but with just enough details to make people notice what you're wearing. Isn't that true? There are 166 projects on Ravelry, so it's been well knit. And let's see, what yarn did they use? They used Knitting for Olive Pure Silk as the suggested yarn. So if it's DK, I wonder if that Cozy Posy Yarn Co. in DK would work. Oh, it would. Like, yes, please. I might have to get 2 lots of yarn. I know I just said I shouldn't be spending money, but I mean, come on. So those were the top 5. And then I also found on Ravelry one more, which popped into my feed this morning, and I said, oh, I must make this. This is called the Flit Top by Victoria Shaplina, and it is a year old. The pattern was published last July. DK weight, little top, and I just think it's the cutest little thing. Let me just make that picture bigger so you can see it. Isn't that cute? Look at the little flutter sleeve. Look at, oh, I think it's adorable. My only concern is the depth of the armhole, so I would very carefully have to Have to check that. But isn't that just the cutest thing? Could you picture that with a cute pair of shorts or a skirt or, you know, anything like that, right? Pair of jeans. Oh, I'm loving it. So let's see, DK weight, I told you that 21 stitches, 28 rows in stockinette after blocking. 3.25, 3.75, US 3 and 5 needles. Comes in 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 sizes, extra small to 3XL. It is a paid for pattern. $8.61 Canadian or $6 US. Flit top is a crop top with short ruffle sleeves, aka small wings. It's designed in romantic style and perfect for everyday wear with skirts, jeans, or shorts. It could be a great top in your summer wardrobe for in-city or vacay outfits. It's worked top down seamlessly in the round and flat with raglan increases on the yoke. Start working upper yoke in the round, then continue to work the back and front flat until the arms, underarms flat to underarms separately while sleeve stitches are placed on hold. Once the yoke is ready, continue to work the body in the round to the desired length after the sleeves are worked in the round using short rows and increases to create delicate ruffles. Neckline and sleeves are finished with an I-cord edging. So that is technically summer top number 6 instead of the 5 that I advertised I would be talking about. But those are my top tops that I would really like to work on this summer, although we are already almost in the middle of June. There we are. So maybe I'll pick 2 of them and commit to doing 2 of them so I have them done and can actually enjoy them for the season. So that's my list. What's on your list? Can you tell me? Like, comment below and tell me, what do you have on your list? Maybe you've got something on your list that's going to bump one of these tops on my list out. I don't know. We'll see. So that's kind of where I am coming from for summer knitting. Excuse me just one minute. This is my Denise Lynch mug. She is a beautiful potter here in Nova Scotia, Pictou County. Oh, it's my favorite mug. So nice to drink out of. All right, we've reached the time for our Knitter's Tarot. So let me just grab the deck. Here we go. Excuse me. So don't forget that I do want to hear your ideas about the Advent calendar swap. Let me know what you think. All right, so we gave the cards a wee shuffle. I always like to split the deck and then take the top card. All right, so today our card is the stockinette. That looks like my Clementine yarn that I'm knitting my Tin Can Knits pattern out of. I was going to call it Tidal Wave, but it's Low Tide. All right, let's read about the stockinette card. Here we go. The stockinette is a happy little card. Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Happy little card. It's a happy little card indicating luck, humor, a light heart, and a carefree mood. Think about just cruising along, knitting lots of stockinette in your favorite yarn. That's the vibe. And that's what I'm doing with my Low Tide cardigan and my Natural Ewe Yarns. Sorry, I lost my place on the page. It could predict a happy coincidence coming your way or a small spot of joy. It's the funny cat video of cards. However, the stockinette can also remind us of how much is fleeting in life and be a wake-up call to seize the day. When paired with another card, the stockinette usually means you can expect some luck in that area of your life, but paired with one of the more unfortunate cards, it could indicate your luck is turning bad. Well, we don't need to worry about that because we're not pairing it with anything today. Stockinette. A small spot of joy. What is bringing you joy right now? What in your knitting, what in your crafting is bringing you joy? Have you finished a project that you absolutely love? I have. I finished a couple. I finished this beautiful Stormbay Shawl, which, although it doesn't have stockinette, it's got garter, it's kind of the same thing. I finished my Maple Harbor socks, which I'm releasing to you in a few days. So what is that small spot of joy that you have in your knitting, or in your crocheting, or in your weaving, or in your sewing, or anything along those lines? Give that a thought, and then let us all know down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. The stockinette. All right, friends. So I will put all the show notes down below so you can easily find all the things that we talked about today. I hope that you have a great rest of your day and that your knitting is bringing you some joy. Take care for now, and I'll see you in a few weeks.